It's fantastic to see so many of you here. Transformers Foundation aims to be the unified voice representing the denim industry and its ideas for positive change. So how can we inspire each other through our collective experiences to overcome barriers? How can we view our own challenges through the prism of someone else's? And how might that change our approach?
What we are really excited to be speaking about today is how can we create the tools and what are the actions that are needed to empower the relationships between suppliers as well as startups in the industry.
We're going to be talking about what are the main problems, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories.
The building brand knowledge is not about the transforming the knowledge to the brand, it's about the co-creation.
Increasingly, brand technical knowledge has been lost over the years, and there's a much higher reliance on the supply chain to provide their technical expertise.
So today we're going to talk about the cost of collaboration and partnership, how equitable that is. So anything you want to add?
Yeah, money talks, so come to our table. That's where things are happening.
In order for the legislations to be well designed, of course, supplier voices need to be included, as well as worker voices in the whole supply chain.
One of the findings we identified is that trust plus transparency equals co-creation. So having transparency throughout our communications with the suppliers creates a better co-creation at the end of the day.
Many suppliers today are carrying financial reputation of innovation alone, so there was a strong agreement that brands need to co-invest, whether through longer-term contracts, data sharing, whatever it is, a way that innovation is not a gamble but a strong commitment, and mechanisms that reward long-term performance.
We talked about how outsourcing of knowledge mirrors the globalisation of production, and so where design teams maybe once upon a time might have been able to visit local mills and laundries in the cities that they worked in. We heard about how travel budgets to the supply chain are being cut, so impacting that level of brand in-house technical knowledge yet again.
As the brands are more kind of limited with the supply chain they work with because of all these certifications, maybe a bit less innovation is coming through. One of the things that people perceive like a painkiller is the legislations will help get less burden on supply chain.
Collaboration cannot just happen between one client and its supply chain. We have to build the ecosystem, and that's why these type of events are highly important to create that collaborative.
Invest in capacity building. If your buyers are subject to legislation, you need to know what this legislation means and what it is.
We have discussed how we are at an unprecedented historical time when it comes to legislation. It comes with a lot of complexity and a lot of overlap, and that makes it difficult for manufacturers as well as buyers to understand how to get their way around it. We also discussed how it's important that suppliers can use legislation to their advantage.
Addressing structural change and long-held norms is not sexy work. It's not found in the press releases or the marketing campaigns, and it's often really hard to articulate to a broad audience, given its implicit nature. It really is the vital work that needs to continue if we're to see a more just transition for the supply chain. And it calls to mind something that Cindy Berman, who was head of modern slavery at another MSI, once said about this kind of change being the quiet work. She talks about the quiet work being slow work, about it being the business of building trust between diverse stakeholders, with much of it happening behind the scenes. To anyone here tinkering away quietly, we see you, and we hope that you can take some inspiration from these updates and know that you are part of a collective effort.